Hello and welcome to this episode of Health and Beauty Hacks. I'm really excited to have you here. I really love our next guest. She's one of my friends, but I met her as she began to change my life through an eating system that has served me very well. I'd been on this system even before I knew her, but then I let it go by the wayside. And since then, this is all I do. So it's really amazing. And I'd like you to meet the fabulous. She's also an actress and a wellness coach. And her name is Udana Powers. Welcome, Udana.
Thank you. Thank you, Nina. I'm so happy to be here. And I just want to acknowledge you and your work
Thank you.
because I think that the ultimate answer to all the questions is love. And what you're doing with that, I think that this is health and wellness. Loving is health and wellness. That's where it all begins. So just thank you for your amazing work.
Thank you very much. I love this woman. I can't wait to get back to LA to give her a hug.
Yeah.
Yes. So will you share with us how you got into what you do? You're also an actress. You can talk a little bit about that because we all love this kind of stuff too. I
Yeah.
remembered her from Happy Days. So I'll let you tell your story, honey.
Yes, I was the pregnant Beatnik on Happy Days, And then I came back and did Pregnant a couple of years later. Yes, I did a lot of television, about 200 commercials. My first big break was starring on Broadway opposite Katharine Hepburn and then the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion and a whole lot of stuff. And as my career was taking off, my health was going south because I had a thing in my body since I was an infant called Candida albicans. So I had a fungus in my body attacking liver, ovaries, adrenals, and I was a sick baby, and I just had to go home and go to sleep. I had to turn down some offers to star in shows in New York and to go to sleep, and it took me years to find out what it was, and I got well through basically nutritional cleansing, getting the toxins and the candida out of my body and really establishing that, and went on after that to become a screenwriter and have had a really wonderful life. Actually, it's been really fun. But one day I got tired of doing wheatgrass and living food all the time, to tell you the truth. I did that. That helped me get well. But I wanted to drop some weight and feel better because I was working too hard, and stumbled into this nutritional program, and I knew it was right, but I didn't actually know how right it was. And this was 2005. But I knew my health was crashing because I was under a lot of stress. I was working hard because I do that. Anyway, but that's how I got involved. And people would start saying, well, what are you doing? Sign me up. And literally people calling me, and this is what I'm doing. And I started helping them through the program. And this has been a calling for about 15 years now. And it's part of my passion is about living a full life and living full as out human beings, loving, generating creativity, discovering what each of us want inside. And in order to have that, we have to have good health. And it's actually something you have to design, and it's very difficult now because of things going on. But that's my story. I'm here. I'm a Fight Site K facilitator, a family constellation facilitator. I'm a writer, and I do all of this stuff. And I really have that because of the energy I get from the program. Did I answer the question?
You did. Fabulous.
Okay. Right.
And I kind of want to boast a little bit. Should we say the name on air or?
Yeah, you can. Sure.
Okay. And so because of her amazing success and her beautiful congeniality, Udana was also and is also one of the early Isagenix millionaires, which is really amazing because it's a lot of hard work and a lot of love. Her stuff, the reason I adore this woman is it's not just about getting a product in your body. It's about making you well. It's about enjoying your life. It's about raising people up. And ever since I've met her, she's always been the cheerleader for me and everyone. And so that's why I really, really love Udana, period. Well, it's Power, but I'm saying period. I love her.
That's okay. Thank you.
So let's talk about nutrition in our food supply has declined so much, 40 to 80% since the 1960s. That's really sad. And before I bring it over to you, Donna, I want to point out that, do you remember ever your grandparents, your aunts, your uncles, or your great aunts and uncles, because some of you are younger than us, do you remember them being as sickly as we are today?
No.
No, we don't. So let's take this away, baby.
Absolutely. Yeah, I remember when the air smelled different. I'm from Los Angeles, born and raised, and do we tell how old we are, or we don't tell how old? Women don't have to tell their age.
I know, I usually blurt it out because it's like, I don't look my
Yeah.
age.
Okay, guys, all right, I'll be 76 in November.
Unbelievable.
I know
Unbelievable.
it's all this stuff. I just put it up here, just so you can see what it is if we needed to reach for it. But I remember when an orange tastes like an orange, and now there was a study done in, I think, the late 90s in UCLA. When I was a little kid, the Popeye, the sailor man, and you eat your spinach, yeah. Now it takes 43 bowls of spinach, or as of 1997, to equal what one bowl of spinach gave us back in when I was a kid in the 50s and the 60s.
That's amazing.
So we've had a depletion in the minerals in our food supply. Has anyone ever tasted a beautiful, delicious looking peach and there was no taste in it?
Mm-hmm.
Minerals give fruits and vegetables their taste. And here's the thing about minerals, and this was written and talked a lot about by a scientist by the name of Linus Pauling. Now, Linus Pauling is the only man ever, or any person ever, to win 2 Nobel Prizes on his own. And he had 45 PhDs. Now, I don't know how somebody does that.
Wow.
But he would talk again and again about minerals. And he said, without minerals in our food supply, we don't have them, and I'll tell you why, but the cells won't open to even absorb the vitamins. So it doesn't matter how many vitamins you're taking. If you're not taking minerals, and there's 72 ionic minerals and trace minerals your body needs to function properly. If you're not getting those, you're not getting the vitamins either, because the cells aren't opening to absorb them. And one of the reasons, there's a number of reasons, but the farming practices over the last decades have included lots of herbicides, pesticides, fungicides. Okay, side meaning death. That's the Latin word for death. It kills all the bugs and stuff. Problem is, it also kills all of the little bugs in the topsoil. And those little bugs used to eat up and germs or whatever they are, bacteria, they used to eat up all the rocks and the roots and get absorbed into the plants. And that came into us as minerals. And so it's not just the depletion in the fact that we're eating, we live in a forest of fast food restaurants. It's actually easier and cheaper to buy a hamburger than it is to get an organic apple. And, but it's not just that kind of fake food. It's that even our fruits and vegetables, they're loaded, even the organic ones, but you're not getting all the minerals your body needs. So what I do, I've got my drink here. I was going to have it subtly. But I have this fruits and greens and this thing called Ionic Supreme every day in my drink. So yeah, I love salads. Yes, I love vegetables and I love food. It's really fun to eat. But I have this every day in a little thing with my personally homemade ginger tea, because I want to make sure my body gets those nutrients. So yeah,
it's really powerful. I put the I have always this round of Isagenix I haven't, but I'm sure I will at some point. We know that mine at the moment is to starve the cancer that I'm killing and reducing, and more than 50% in 2 months the tumors have shrunk. So I've used the greens and the fruits in there, and they're amazing. The thing about Isagenix is it's grown in the cleanest hemisphere in the world. It's also produced so that a scoop of the greens will actually produce, I mean, we have to be zoo animals to eat this much nowadays food, but it's like so many pounds of vegetables are in our serving now through that small container. So the way in which they manufacture this, consciously heart-centered and aware, allows us more nutrition in our food. I love that you pointed that out. And the Ionic Supreme is really great. I take it every day as well. It gives me
It has, this is that is just a feat, that Ionic Supreme. It has 9 adaptogens in them. One called Shilajit, that's called Destroyer in the Himalayas. Comes out of, so glacial melt comes out of the Himalayan mountains. They have it in, but that's the strongest in the Himalayas. It comes out in the Andes and one other place. But it's they call it Destroyer of Weakness. And but there's not, that's an adaptogen, but there's 8 other adaptogens in this little drink, and it also comes in a bottle. And basically, it balances out all the systems in your body. It'll give you more energy. My boyfriend used to drink lots of coffee. Now he has Ionic Supreme. That's it.
It's fabulous. That really is fabulous. Yeah. So let's talk about amino acids, enzymes that are needed in everyday use.
We need, obviously everybody talks about protein, and we need that. We need amino acids every day. You know, we can store fat, but we don't store amino acids. We can build muscle, but we need it every day. And the thing is that most foods, like I think chicken has, like you have, it's not how much protein you eat, it's how much gets absorbed into the cells, and it's actually bioavailable to the cells. And there's a man named Dr. Marco Ruggiero, and he's a very famous oncologist. He's also a cellular biologist.
Can I just tell the audience, this is the man that that John Gray spoke of, that you heard already, and also you'll be hearing Peter Lawford talk about him as well. So there's there's Greenlaw. Thank you. Yeah, I was so excited about the actor here that I just threw him in. Yeah. So I'm sorry. So go ahead. I was just excited. I wanted the audience to have a cross reference of Marco. So
yes, Peter's the man I work with, and
yes.
He's a very good friend of the man who created Isagenix, John Anderson, and he got passionate. It saved his life. I'm sure he'll tell you his story.
Yeah.
And John Gray is, you had John Gray on already?
Yes, yes.
Oh, he's a great guy. Wow.
Yes.
Well, yes, they've spoken about Dr. Marco Ruggiero, who's a cellular biologist as well as an oncologist, one of the top oncologists, cancer doctors in the world. He's not an affiliate or he's not a distributor or anything like that with Isagenix. He's just working to get his cancer patients healthy fast. He tested all of the shakes. He designed a test that could show the absorption in the cells of the amino acids that come in. And he said regular, when you have regular shakes, he went out and got all the shakes from all over, Costco everywhere, and Whole Foods, and he tested them all, including Isagenix. And he said most of them had like between 11 and 16% absorption into the cells. And then he took, because our shakes not only have all the nutrition, they're a full meal, but they have 7 enzymes in them. And then when water hits our shakes, those enzymes get activated and they start digesting up the shakes. That's the power of them. John Anderson didn't even patent that because he didn't want to write it down so anybody could know how he did it. So that's what he told me at the early on. But what Dr. Ruggiero found out was that if you took the Isoline Pro shakes, there's 36 grams of protein in them, and he put them in warm water.
No more than 100 degrees.
No more than 100 degrees. Right. I just use room temperature water and let it sit with a couple of scoops of Isoline Pro shakes and for 40 minutes. And what that does, the incubation does, is it starts digesting up all the nutrition. And what he discovered is when he tested, he did this with all the shakes, and this is the only one that had this kind of a result. He said the Isoline Pro shakes, once you incubate it, the absorption for the amino acids is 90%. Wait a minute, we go up from 16% to 90% absorption.
Amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
amazing.
And can I say why that's important?
Yes.
For that? Because it's not only for athletes and bodybuilders and people like us, it helps our metabolism go faster. But there's a disease called sarcopenia, and we start losing lean muscle mass somewhere in our 30s. And so we just don't keep putting it on like we used to do. And what we found when you start doing these shakes this way, you start putting on lean. I had a 65-year-old elite athlete, champion cage fighter guy, won it twice. He said he's never put on lean muscle so fast in his whole life as he did with these. But it's important because we don't want to be little people with, you see little old people with no
I
body.
love you. You're great.
It just, who wants to get old, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fabulous. So as you know, you brought me Peter Greenlaw,
Yes.
and to help get my nutrition going. And this is all part, everybody. This is one of the hacks that I've had in my life that is reversed what's going on in my body. Is I incubate this for 40 minutes. I also add either I drink it or I'll add it. I also add the yogurt, the liquid yogurt that John Gray and I were talking about on the show, that also this lady here helped get me informed about it. So this is really powerful, and my body has changed. My body actually has dropped weight without even meaning to, because I've had to, because my thing was that my hormones were flooding and I was gaining weight for a couple years, that the cancer was trying to grow. And so it's really been a beautiful awareness, because I do starve the cancer, because there's another process that I'm doing that you have seen in my video about the poor man's chemo and how it all works together. So it's really beautiful. I just have to say, I love this. I take this daily. I do it twice a day. It's changed my life. And at night I use one as a dessert. I have for me, I have to be limited on my food choices. And I don't starve myself. And that's the point of being strong, being clean, and moving forward. So I just had to put that in, because I love what you're doing. It's helped me change my life drastically. It's helped the cancer heal. This is also one of the hacks. There's a few other ones too, but this is, if you don't put things together to get yourself strong and healthy, you're not going to get strong and healthy. This is one way. Reducing things on the other side is another way. But this has really been a very powerful. I now am stronger and healthier than I've been in 5 years. I do more physical walking, hiking, everything than I have in 5 years. So, and here people would say that I shouldn't be doing this, but eating right, taking care of your body, the desire, all of it. These are all the hacks into creating a life that gives you sustainability.
I'm so glad you did. Mia,
Me too.
When you called and told me what was going on, my heart went into my throat, the fact that you've taken it on and you said, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to go off the map and just take it one step at a time, just because your work and what you're sharing with the world about love is so important. So I'm so glad. I'm so glad.
Thank you. And I was on Isagenix with her before, but I actually got down to business differently once I had to make the choice to save my life. So unfortunately, some of us have to get that far, right? I mean, but the answers are there. That's my point of this whole show. The beautiful answers are there to support us in moving forward. Whew. Did you want to talk about, just like what we're doing, about staying young?
Yes, because that's important, because I lost about 10 years in the middle of my life. When my career was taking off and I lost that, it was 10 years
Oh,
that
wow.
I was searching, trying to figure out how to get well, and then finally got well. So
Yeah.
I figured this is all free time. And I actually never thought I'd even sing again because I was so sick. My vocal cords were all puffy, and I'm singing better than ever. I got more life in me. I mean, I'm having fun.
Yeah.
And, but my interest is in how do we stay young and vital. And there was a man that Peter might talk about him when he was on, but there's a man who is the top geneticist. That's it. Not a gynecologist, geneticist. The top geneticist in the world, a man, Dr. William Andrews. And he had been studying anti-aging, age reversal, dedicated his whole life to it. And he's the one who discovered, and he's got multiple patents, over 45 patents on this, that the only biological clock in the human body is called a telomere. And it's a word that people are talking about now. And a telomere is the little end of the chromosome. And as we grow older, they grow shorter. Mm. Also, when we're sick somewhere in our body, they're short. Mm. And when they get short and completely fray, we die. That's cool. Mm-hmm. And he has a laboratory up in, my hands go all over the place, but up in Nevada, I think, somewhere in northern Nevada, Tahoe, or somewhere right in there. And he had already tested 330,000 chemicals to see. What he discovered was in the reproductive system, when the telomeres grow short, an enzyme called telomerase comes out and bathes them so they grow long again. Otherwise, we'd have old babies. Mm. So he figured out, if I can get the telomerase to be expressing itself in all the other cells, hey, I might be able to stop aging or reverse it. Mm-hmm. And there is a study online. Diane Sawyer did a report on it at Harvard Medical Center, where they literally reversed the aging in mice. Literally, from their skin to their brain. She shows all kinds of things, and it's quite remarkable. Only problem was it wasn't safe enough for humans, because after they would get young again, the chemicals in it would kill them. Oh, so Peter said he tracked down Dr. Andrews, who wanted to find out about this, and he said, Dr. Andrews, why not use botanicals? And Dr. Andrews said, well, I'm a chemist, and botanicals, wheatgrass juice, what are you kidding? And he's got him in touch with John Anderson, the man who created Isagenix. That he's a genius. This man is a complete genius. And he put those two together. And he said within about 15 minutes, he couldn't understand a word they were saying. But at the end, these two giants, one in chemistry and one in botanicals and nutritionals, John said to Dr. Andrews, he says, Dr. Andrews, he says, I hate to tell you this, but you're looking in the wrong place. The body does not speak the language of chemicals. It speaks the language of botanicals. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's what it understands. And I've talked to Dr. Andrews. He was like, harumph. Yeah, right. Prove it. Mm-hmm. So John said, yeah, I'm going to go back. And he went back to his place in Arizona, and he, I like to say, whipped up some things, but it was more than that, because he had access to all the botanicals, and he had been one of the top formulators in the nutritional world for over 30 years. And he sent them back to Dr. Andrews, and Dr. Andrews pulled his team together. He said, okay, all right, should we test him? Okay, because they tried botanical. Mm-hmm. And they put him in the computer, and by Friday, when they pulled him out, there were two things that were stronger than anything they'd tested before. And it was all botanicals. And all of them were on the GRAS list for the government, which is generally regarded as safe. And that piqued their interest. They thought, holy, who is this guy? And later, John sent him, I think it was 15 or 25 more, and another one spiked that. And that's when they created a partnership. And this was was 6 years ago, 7 years ago. I've been taking it that long. And we're at the 4th iteration of it. John even gave him some things that took his testing off the charts. He couldn't even test it. He had to invent a new way to test it because it's so potent. Nobody else has been able to duplicate it. I've seen amazing things happen, not only in human beings, but also in dogs. I can't get my cats to eat it, but the dogs, you know, I've seen amazing things happen with animals. And so that's what I take. I take my vitamins. I have daily vitamins. This makes it really simple. John Gray said if you went to the store to buy all of the stuff that's in all of this stuff, you'd be spending $250 a month on just vitamins, and then you have to figure out how to make it all go together. I just do this, 2 vitamins or 2. You can see all the vitamins in there. Yeah. And then I always add a little bit. It's called Isagenix. It was called Product B because it was just a nickname in the lab. And then finally so I always add a little extra because I'm old.
And I have to laugh at that. You have to send me an email on this other stuff. I'm like,
I will send you yes, I will. And I'll send you the Diane Sawyer report so you can share it if you choose.
Oh, very cool.
I'll find it and just send it over to you and send you.
Well, really quickly, because we are out of time, but we're not going to go off yet. Just like with John Gray, we talked for an hour. I want to bring up about intermittent fasting. I saw that on our chats to talk about. I find intermittent fasting very valuable for myself. Not only does it help me to lose weight, but it also, when you're recovering from illnesses, it helps your body when you do your intermittent fasting and then you actually do the fasting part for a couple days. It actually helps your body regrow cells that have died away. So talk about intermittent fasting, sweetheart.
Okay, well, the Isagenix was started in 2002. And John Anderson had already been in nutritional formated for 30 years and had retired at a ranch. And one morning he put his foot in his boot and there was a brown recluse spider inside of it. And brown recluse spiders, if you don't know what they are very deadly. They do necrosis of the flesh. It literally kills the flesh. And what the doctors know how to do is to just keep cutting out gobs of muscle and flesh to keep ahead of it. And he had been in the hospital for a couple of months and with multiple operations on his foot. And doctor said, okay, sign here, John, we're going to have to amputate. He said, oh, no way. Checked himself out and he went home. And Peter told me all of this. He said he was about 36 hours. He says pretty soon he felt it was divinely inspired. And he came up with a program. He says there's not one thing that'll do everything. It's a cleanse, a nutritional cleansing program, which is the foundation of Isagenix. Now we have over 100 products, but then we had 4. And one, it was a cleanse drink. And it had 72 ionic minerals and trace minerals, over 100 botanicals in it, that would actually start pulling the impurities out of the cells and flooding the cells with high quality nutrients. Then there are these little things called accelerators, high-powered nutrition and botanicals, also help with appetite. And then these amazing shakes with all the enzymes and just pure food. And that's 3, and that's 4. What is it? Well, there was the snacks, right? Because he was a type 2 diabetic. They had little snacks, keep your blood sugar stable. So basically he went on this back to back for himself to save his life. And by the end of 30 days, he had dropped 30 pounds. He saved his life. He saved his foot. And he went, oh my gosh, what have I discovered? And he made I was either 300 or 400 of these kits and sent them out to colleagues saying, check this out. And everybody had the same reaction. Everyone put on lean muscle mass. The people who had toxic fat lost fat. And they couldn't figure that out until they realized, wait a minute, with all the chemicals that are coming into our bodies every day, we're eating and breathing and smoking and rubbing them into our skin, whatever it is, how we're getting these chemicals, the body doesn't know what to do with them. So what it would do is just go, oh, let me put a little fat around it. So it doesn't get into the soft organ tissue. So the cleanse that he created for himself that I've gone on back to back. You know, I don't do it all the time. So most of the time I'm just eating the food. But you do 2 days of cleansing and 5 days of shake, meal, shake, 2 days of cleansing, and you can do it. I did it back to back. That's how I retained my
I
health.
did it back to back for 7 months.
Yes.
7 months,
And
lost a person, and my skin was still beautiful. I lost 140 pounds when I did this 12 years ago, after being in a wheelchair, and the doctor saying, that was another exit point, everyone. And the doctor saying, your organs are going to crash. You need to get your affairs in order. You have less than 2 years to live. I found Isagenix, and that saved my life. Physically, and my skin is beautiful because of it. You know, it just, you wouldn't think dropping 140 pounds in 7 months would make your skin beautiful, but my skin was very beautiful, very
so
youthful.
had
Yeah,
elasticity.
yeah,
People don't get
yeah,
flat, saggy skin. You lose 140 pounds, people are going into $10,000 worth of surgery.
right.
And that
Normally,
isn't healthy.
yeah, right.
But the elasticity stays in your skin. And people get the isoglow. You
Yeah.
know, you start glowing from the inside out.
So this time around, what I've noticed is like you said, the muscles are different. My energy's different, all of that. I love the concept of the intermittent fasting, because even just to keep during the day, say I used to do 18-6, which means that I would fast for 18 hours and I would eat for 6 hours. Even doing, say, 14 to 16 a day, and then doing your 2 days of your fasting with the cleanse, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's so life-changing. If you want to be a rock star, do this.
Even if you have it at night and let your body
Yeah.
cleanse overnight and then
Yeah.
eat at noon or whatever. I found that I was a sugaraholic. I was literally, and I didn't realize it then, but I was, you know, there was alcoholism in my family. I never drank, but I didn't realize that. But I was a sugaraholic, and I found that all my food cravings went away.
Yeah, it's amazing. I love it. Well, obviously, that's why I'm having you on. Thank you so much for being here. Would you like to share with the audience what your free gift is to them?
Yes, I would love to give you a free consultation.
It's
If
priceless.
you know, we can talk about what your needs are, because not everybody wants to go on a full cleanse, but some people just want more energy. I want to be feeling better. There's all kinds of gradients. We're all coming from different places. I can be so helpful for you. And also, Peter is at my beck and call, and he's brilliant. So when people have things that are really a challenge, like with Mia, we just plug, you know, we connect people. So I would love to give you a free consultation, and we can talk about what's going on for you and see what would help. Everything is guaranteed. And I want to do a drawing. Let's see who responds here, and then do a drawing. I'm a Psych K facilitator. I've trained specifically with Bruce Lipton, the PhD. He's written The Biology of Belief. It's how thoughts affect our cells. And he recommends this as well. I say with he and Rob.
In conjunction, right?
In conjunction, yes. So if somebody comes in and if you want, I'm going to do a drawing. I'm going to choose someone and let's see what it's right for you, or if somebody, we'll see. But I want to be able to give you a free Psych K session.
I love this. So so you're giving a 30-40 minute evaluation to people to see if you can support them in their wellness. And from those people that sign up, there's going to be a drawing for 5 for the Psych K evaluation, which is a beautiful gift that she's giving. It's about an hour to an hour and a half, and it will change your life, completely change your life. So
$55 value. I mean, that's just for openers, but it can change your life immediately, and we do it on Zoom.
And that is in your daily email. Remember, everyone, your free gift is in your daily email. It was really lovely to have you on. I adore you, and I miss you in person.
I do too. Do people know where to find me? I did put a
They
little
do. It's
page just for you.
It's all in the email. Yes.
Okay. And it's .life, not .com. Yeah. Okay. Good. And they
All
can
of
call me on my cell phone because they're your people.
that's
And
beautiful.
I know what an amazing community you have.
Yeah. Very, very, very lovely. So I'm really grateful that you were here. Is there one last thing that you'd like to share with the audience from your heart before we go?
You have so much to give, who you really are.
Mhm.
You are such a powerful soul, and we live in such magic, and there's such chaos going around. We need you, your authentic love, your personal power, and we need to all be coming together to
That's right.
create out of all that's going on right now.
We
Because
need
we
all
can
of you.
change the
Yep.
world, all of you in particular, and it's your point of view, your authentic self, not who you think you should be, but who you really are. And that was a quote came to me a zillion years ago. It said, I give you nothing unless I give you more of yourself.
Mm,
So I
that's
just want to
beautiful.
honor that in you and say, whatever you choose, I'm here to cheer you on.
It's beautiful. Thank you so much, Udana, for being here. Lovely. And that quote one more time. I give you you.
I give you nothing unless I give you more of yourself.
Thank you. That's so beautiful. Ooh. All right, everyone. We'll see you in another episode of Health and Beauty Hacks with Mia. Thank you so much. Bye.